Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that she cannot use her recent breakup to act like a brat? I, 45M, am the father for 5 children, 18M, 17F, 14F, 7M, and 5M. Their mother passed away shortly after the youngest's birth. A week ago, my 14F daughter went through a breakup with a boy from school. She was absolutely devastated, and I've tried to best to be there for her and listen and understand her needs. Ever since the breakup, she's been acting like a completely different girl. She's rude to me and her siblings, has actively bullied the youngest, called her older sister a slut because of her dating habits, and when I pull her aside and tell her to apologize, she rolls her eyes and refuses. Every time I ask her why she's acting so badly, she always excuses it away with the breakup. I have tried to sit her down and talk to her. I have tried to explain to her how hurtful words can be. She never listens. Yesterday, she called her youngest brother a retard, and I snapped, which I don't usually do, but after a week of the behavior, I was ready to end it. I told her that breakups sucked and they hurt beyond belief, but that she was acting like a brat and it needed to end. She got upset, stormed upstairs, and proceeded to call her aunt, who helped me raise the kids after my wife's death, as she usually does when she feels like she can't talk to me about sensitive issues. They talked a while, and then my sister, the aunt, called me and said that I needed to be more patient with her, since she'd just gone through her first major heartbreak, and that I shouldn't have snapped at her. Any insight? I will accept any fault. Not the asshole. She should be watching rom-coms and eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream. She is using it as an excuse to bully, and your sister is just reinforcing that it's okay. Edit. I have realized how dumb I was for literally posting 4 edits. Tacky. Not the asshole. It's totally okay for your daughter to be upset after a heartbreak. I could even understand if she was a little short or snappy for a couple days because of it. But her flat-out bullying behavior is unacceptable. Without knowing your family dynamic, my best guess as to what happened is that your daughter felt more comfortable talking to her aunt than she did to you about the breakup. Maybe revealing something particularly hurtful that was said or done. So aunt is telling you to be more kind, thinking you know all the same details. I could be totally off base, but that was my first instinct. Not the asshole. She needs to learn that she can't take out her feelings on other people. I'm sure she's having a hard time, but it's no excuse to bully her siblings. Nah. The aunt obviously only got one side of the story. Your daughter is young, but she also needs to be responsible for her actions. I'd keep talking to her about her feelings, but also make it clear that unacceptable behavior will be punished. Not the asshole. It is not acceptable to use your pain as an excuse to inflict pain on others. This is a lesson she needs to learn. That said, you should definitely still show her that you love her and can sympathize with her sadness. Not the asshole. There is never an excuse to talk to her siblings like that, especially to use the R word. No assholes here. Okay, your daughter a little, but being 14 and heartbroken is really hard. You need to help your daughter to understand that being hurt is not an excuse to lash out at other people, and help her to emotionally regulate. Some extra, quality time with you, aunt, might help her as well. As other people have mentioned, losing one person makes you wonder if you'll lose the other people in your life as well. This may be why she is pushing all of you away. Not the asshole. You have other kids to think about too, and she's affecting them. It would be easier if it was just her on her own. Maybe the aunt can help talk to her and give you some tips on how to carry on supporting her, especially now when you feel like you've had enough. Good luck. Not the asshole. Although yes, being gentle helps through a first breakup, she is lashing out for zero reason. It's one thing to be holed up in your room crying that you won't come out, but calling names and being rude is not part of healthy coping. Not the asshole. Everything seems amplified when you're a teenager. Let her be sad, let her mope, let her whine. But she does not get to be hurtful, abusive to her siblings or anybody else. Also, using the R word is not okay. Just because you are hurting doesn't give you the right to use slurs. Not the asshole. Your daughter is using her first heartbreak as justification for behaving like a monster. Her siblings don't deserve to be treated like this. If she's only willing to behave like a decent human being when she's in a relationship, then she's going to have a very hard time finding another boyfriend. And if she keeps treating her siblings this way, she's not even going to have family to lean on. Info. Was she given all the space she needed? Was she forced to be around her siblings at the time she called them names? Not the asshole. Throughout my heartbreaks through adolescence I never snapped on my siblings. It's one thing to be crabby to grown-ups, but I've never used slurs like that against my younger siblings. Has her aunt maybe talked to her more about breakups? If not, maybe she needs a female figure to listen to her about these problems she's going through. TBH, it seems like she's acting out because what she needs is her mother right now. She shouldn't be rude to anyone, but she's hurt by the breakup and probably more hurt because she doesn't have the one person she needs right now. I would talk to her again and let her know what she is feeling is valid, but she can't act that way towards her family. Then you ask her what she needs from you. It may be some space or it may be some time to talk about her feelings. Don't assume you know what she needs. Ask her. Nah. Not the asshole. I don't think Aunt said anything wrong when she said you needed to be more patient with her. Heartbreak is tough, especially at that age. You definitely were in the right though by punishing her because she needs to learn that being in pain doesn't give you permission to be an asshole to everyone. Help teach your daughter healthy ways to get over a broken heart, such as eating a pint of ice cream and binge-watching Netflix. I don't understand these parents coming to "Am I the asshole?" thinking they'd get good parenting advice. Not the asshole. Since apparently the aunt's fine with it, send her to her aunt's until she stops abusing everyone else. You have 4 other children to protect as well. Not the asshole. You are right. Going through a hard time is not an excuse to treat everyone else like shit. Being patient and compassionate does not mean letting her bully your other children. If she keeps doing it, ground her until it sinks in, since talking and compassion have yet to work. Not the asshole, but as a former 14-year-old girl I can say she needs time. At that age being broken up with is literally the worst thing in the world. But sadly there's not much you can do, unless she would be open to therapy. Just encourage her to hang out with friends or indulge in her hobbies. Also make sure she's showering and eating to make sure this depressive spell doesn't go any further. I would say no assholes here. She's 14 and had her first major breakup and probably don't know how to deal with her emotions, so you had to telephone her. She can't take it out on her siblings, but you could have said it in a calmer and nicer way. Your sister probably knows more than you, so you sold. Ask her what she know. I would ask if she wants to watch a movie and have some Ben and Jerry's or chocolate. Try to connect with her and show that you're there for her. Even if she don't want to talk about it, it's comfortable to know that you care for her in this hard times for her, and when she have calmed down she have to apologize to her siblings so they don't stay mad at her, because it's probably only the older sister that knows what she's dealing with. It's probable that she is depressed. Have you considered getting her into therapy? Anger, changes in behavior, etc., are typical for teens. But they are also symptoms of depression. At some point where she hasn't had an outburst, when her mood is fairly stable, talk to her in private. Tell her that it's okay to be sad or angry, but it's not okay to take those feelings out on others. Let her know that if she feels she can't control her emotions, therapy is an option. Then offer it again, at other times. Good luck. I think she's hurting, and learning better coping skills is a good thing. Heart. Not the asshole. However, it is important to encourage her talk to you about the breakup. Find out why it went wrong and use it as an opportunity to reassure her if needed. She might be feeling really burned now. Teenage boys can be sweet, but they can also be very pushy about sex. Did he push her to have sex and then ditch her? That would really burn. Is he spreading stories about her? And at the same time, stop making a drama about this. If she says something mean, then calmly address it and then focus all your attention of the other child. Walk out of the room together. Not the asshole, but what a great teaching moment you can make this. First, second, hell, any breakup is hard. But she needs to learn healthy coping mechanisms. She is hurt, feels less than, unworthy, angry, confused, bitter. And she is young. They don't know how to deal with it. So that's up to you. Teach her how to grieve the loss of the relationship in a healthy way. I'm going to go with nah. She's 14. She's going through hormonal changes, just went through her first breakup, and doesn't have her mom to talk to about all of it. It doesn't excuse her behavior, but it seems like she's going through a tough time. On top of that, 2020 has sucked, and people often underestimate or dismiss how much kids are being impacted by all of it too. Just keep trying to support her and show her positive examples of processing negative emotions. I started acting out as a brat when something really hurtful happened to me around that age. It was a self-defense. It doesn't make it okay. Be patient but firm. Try to talk to her and spend some time cheering her up, maybe watch a movie together or something and make her feel comfortable. Try to spend some time alone if possible, or let her spend some time alone with her aunt and see if anything else comes out of the woodwork that you can then work through together. Nah, and I'm very sorry for your loss. Not the asshole, but you do need to be more patient with her. She's 14. She's lost her mother. She had her first, true love, breakup. Try to look at all of that from her perspective. I understand that she doesn't need to act like a brat, but who didn't at that age? All of the hormones all of the place and not being able to process all of the different emotions. It's a tough age. Add to it the loss of your mother. I'd be a brat, too. Help her work through all of these things. The teenage years won't last forever. Not the asshole. Now would be a great time to teach her that while you cannot control your feelings, you can control your behaviors. You don't get in trouble for how you feel, you get in trouble for how you behave while you're feeling that way. You'll never get in trouble for being angry, but you will get in trouble for punching someone. You'll never get in trouble for being sad, but you will get in trouble for harshly lashing out at others. Teach her to communicate through her feelings, but don't let her get away with being mean. Not the asshole. Tell her it's okay to be upset. To take time to heal. Eat ice cream and chocolate and pizza. Watch sappy movies and have a cry. But taking it out on others is unacceptable. Not the asshole. Hurt people, hurt people. She needs to know it's not okay so it doesn't become normalized. Not the asshole, but she sounds like she's depressed, maybe try therapy. Not the asshole. She's too old for tantrums, about anything. I didn't get to behave like that when my grandmother died in front of me when I was 14 lol. It's a good lesson in, life sucks and you can't take it out on others. It's not everyone else's job to accept abuse because she feels shitty. Perhaps your daughter is still struggling with the large emotions of the death of her mother and then feeling like she has lost her boyfriend. She is also 14 years old and rife with hormones. Whilst I don't think you're the a-hole, as children do know how to push you to their limits, perhaps she does need time to process. Do you think it would be helpful for her oldest daughter to chat with her or try doing something, an activity with her that might allow her to start talking about emotions? So, not the asshole B. As a single parent, I started Pineapple Talk. If my kids wanted to talk to me about anything, they would say, "Can I talk to you in Pineapple?" This caused two things to happen. The first, I was able to take a breath and clear my mind. The second, they could say anything they wanted to say, without any judgment at all, and I had to listen. To be clear, if consequences needed to happen, they would, well after Pineapple. And if anyone was in danger, we acted immediately. But other than that, it was a clear open space in which they felt free to talk. They are now grown and still, once in a great while, will ask to talk in Pineapple. Hope this helps. Not the asshole. Just make sure that her ex-boyfriend didn't say mean things like this to her either. Maybe she wants others to feel that pain because she doesn't know how to handle it? Let her know how you're going through life without your other half. I will say nth, but maybe I'm in the wrong here, but I'm somewhat surprised that everyone here attributes her acting out to her heartbreak. But the only thing in my mind is, her mother died. I get it that it's been a while, but still. She's a child. How has she coped with her mother's passing? Has she processed this loss in a healthy way? I think it would be helpful to take a deeper look at this, beyond the breakup. I'd bet the root of her change in behavior has very little to do with the breakup itself. It might have been the catalyst, but yeah. Consider sending her to a therapist or counselor. Not the asshole. Keep in mind though that what she's going through is the hardest thing, from her perspective, in her life so far. Help her work through her issues, be supporting and let her know taking her anger out on others is not healthy, productive or acceptable. Especially since family possibly can be the best support system in times of need. Good luck. It's not the breakup. It's being 14. Just keep reinforcing rules. Her emotions are way too big for her to understand. Maybe ask her aunt to support her in a more constructive way. But I do remember signing, As I Walk Through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, by Coolio a lot when dealing with my too. Keep walking. It will pass. NTA. There are no excuses for bullying, insulting anybody. Yes, breakups are usually not the nicest. But she has gone way too far with that. Most people that are 14 generally nice even after a breakup. But she has turned into being rude. Also just a question, did she ever have any anger issues in the past? Whom the F bullies a 5-year-old? Not the asshole. I have BPD, so take that into consideration, but when my first love dumped me when I was 15, I cried for weeks and stopped eating, but I never bullied, slut-shamed or called people the R word. This behavior is ridiculous and I think you've been patient as it is. Does your sister expect you to just let her behavior slide while she torments others? What about the other children? NTA, it's okay to be sad, it's not okay to be an asshole to your family because you're sad. Not the asshole. Nip it in the bud now or she will become a ex-Rama queen and make everyone's life miserable. Not the asshole. But be careful. Given her age, I'm assuming her teenage hormones are kicking in and normal emotions would be right at the extreme for her. It's hard going through all of this without a mom. Raising Girls, by Steve Biddulph, psychologist for 30 years, is a good book. Or if you can access therapy and work out some good strategies to help deal with her without alienating or ruining your relationship. Better to seek help now than waiting until it gets worse. Not the asshole. Never reinforce the, I'm miserable so everyone else should be miserable, mentality. The breakup is no excuse to lash out. Whenever my sisters or I got angsty, my parents offered us an option: loose your phone for a week or go hack at the thicket of grapevine and brambles in the backyard and do not come in until you fill a garbage can with debris. 3 years after instituting this bratty behavior modification, we had cleared nearly a quarter acre. To this day, when I get pissed off or upset, I rage garden, rage clean, rage volunteer with someplace that will provide me access to a sledgehammer. You might as well teach her early to channel that pain drama into something productive. It makes healing go faster. Not the asshole. You lost your wife too, but you're not acting like a brat, plus she can't let a breakup affect her relationship with her family, she should know better. Not the asshole. It is so important to learn that just because you feel upset doesn't mean you get to be mean. Stuff she says like that can really affect her siblings. I have never been a fan of coddling kids. It is okay to be sad and even a little snappy, but she crossed that line a long time ago. Not the asshole. Not the asshole.